Doug Rafferty, Wendy Scott, Paul Poteet Weather, and Chuck Marlowe Sports. This is the 10 o'clock news.
Good evening to you. The celebrations of this 4th of July are being overshadowed by the events that are taking place in the Persian Gulf. The U.S. missile cruiser Vincennes yesterday shot down an Iranian airliner with 290 people aboard. There were no survivors. The details of the incidents raise many questions. Why was the jetliner in a combat zone? And why couldn't the Vincennes, one of the most sophisticated ships in the fleet, tell the difference between a jetliner and a military jet fighter? And why didn't the jet respond to warnings to stay away? An investigation by the Navy has already begun. Meanwhile, there are threats of terrorism from Iran. John Aubuchon has more from the White House.
President Reagan has ruled out any consideration of reparations for families of the airline victims or for Iran till after the investigation he's ordered. The president, returning to the White House from Camp David, again defended the decision of the Vincennes captain to fire at the aircraft, but said that does not minimize the tragedy.
But we're talking about an incident in which a plane on radar was observed coming in the direction of a ship in combat, and the plane began lowering its altitude. And so I think it was an understandable accident.
A working group at the State Department is sifting through the latest intelligence, looking for any signals of Iranian retaliation. Threats of that came last night from Iran's UN ambassador in an interview with the Independent News. The diplomat also suggested indirectly that American hostages in Lebanon, held by pro-Iranian Arabs, might be in jeopardy. The president is worried about what Iran might do.
Well, you have to think about that, knowing who they are.
Robin Wright, an Iran scholar, says terrorism is more likely than direct military confrontation.
Because of the high death toll, including 66 children, that even those moderates within the regime who favor better relations with the outside world and trying to find a mediated solution to the war rather than a military outcome will feel cornered, will feel they have to do something.
Wright is just back from 2 weeks of interviews with Iran's leaders and says, ironically, before this tragedy, they were preparing to improve relations with the U.S.
Well, I don't go much by what the Iranians say, ever.
The president will fight hard to preserve his Persian Gulf policy. The White House has orchestrated its responses to try to avoid any crisis atmosphere. Mr. Reagan waited till today to return from Camp David to watch tonight's fireworks with friends from the White House balcony. There were not even any high-level meetings here today to assess the situation. Senior officials laid low. The administration is pleased that so far the incident has not triggered any huge political debate, with even Jesse Jackson saying the incident should not prompt a unilateral U.S. withdrawal from the Gulf. John Aubuchon, the White House.
Both Indiana senators have defended the U.S. action in the Gulf. Lugar says the Iranian jetliner should not have been in the war zone and approaching U.S. military ships. Dan Quayle also said the incident raises many questions, including why the Vincennes couldn't tell a civilian jet from a military fighter aircraft.
Back here in Indiana, this holiday saw a fire destroy 6 businesses and do more than $2 million in damage to buildings in Williamsport. That's a small community about 40 miles west of Lafayette. The fire began about 3 a.m. this morning in a hardware store, and it quickly spread to adjoining buildings. A restaurant, law offices, a barber shop, and the local school superintendent's office were all destroyed. The blaze was brought under control by late morning. Water had to be shuttled in by tankers when the town's water tower came close to running out of water. 65 firefighters from 10 departments fought the blaze. 2 firemen suffered heat exhaustion. A third was injured when he fell through a roof, but there were no other injuries. Firefighters are still unsure how the blaze got started.
17-year-old Herb Robbins will appear in Marion County Municipal Court tomorrow morning to face murder charges. Marion County Sheriff's detectives say Robbins has confessed to last Thursday's murder of Indianapolis attorney Donald Jackson. Jackson was found dead of a single stab wound in a West Side motel. Robbins, according to police, was arrested on a charge of male prostitution Saturday evening. Credit cards belonging to Jackson were found in Robbins' possession. Police also have recovered what they believe is a murder weapon as well as Jackson's automobile. Hal Hoosier celebrated the holiday. That story is coming up.
And an update on the State Police Mustang Patrol when the 10 o'clock news continues. Stay with us.
Chicago Cubs all season long on WTTV Channel 4.
If you've ever wanted your own swimming pool, now is the time to call Midwest Water Systems. Midwest has a large selection of luxury in-ground, above-ground, and on-ground pools. You can have an above-ground pool installed from $949 and up, or an in-ground pool complete for $59.95 and up. Keep the family in your backyard with payments as low as $2 and some change a day. The area's exclusive dealer for Wilkes Pools and Sea Isle from Anchor. Midwest Water Systems, Central Indiana's largest pool sales and service center.
The best-selling minivan sold anywhere in the world is this van right here, the Plymouth Voyager. And the best place to buy one anywhere in the world is right here at Eastgate Chrysler Plymouth. Let me show you why. For a limited time only, we are sell-pricing our Voyager vans from just $98.95 plus destination. Plus, you get front-wheel drive and a 7-year, 70,000-mile warranty. This is why you'll make your best buy at Eastgate Chrysler Plymouth, just 500 North Shadeland, Indianapolis.
Starting Tuesday night, we turn up the heat.
Well, I'm hot-blooded, check it and see. I feel the fever burning inside of me. Come on, baby, do you do more than dance? I'm hot-blooded, I'm hot-blooded.
Sizzle, foxes, carnal knowledge, and joy of sex. 4 hot movies to celebrate summer starting Tuesday on the Channel 4 8 o'clock movies.
Many central Indiana communities, including Indianapolis, held their traditional 4th of July celebrations today. And as we found out, there are many ways of commemorating America's 212th birthday.
Go for a newspaper?
A nice and easy game of horseshoes was just one activity enjoyed on this hot and sunny Monday holiday. For others who came to former President Benjamin Harrison's house, it was a day to experience a little bit of our country's history.
I've never made a flag before, but it doesn't look difficult. I like this design, but I believe that a 5-pointed star would look nicer than one with 6 points.
The 4th of July is a day when America celebrates its independence, and a day 100 years ago when Indiana's only U.S. president received the Republican Party's nomination for the White House.
We thought it would be a good idea to have an annual ice cream social, and considering how important patriotism was, Benjamin Harrison, this would be the perfect day for that.
And of course it wouldn't be the 4th of July in Indianapolis if people didn't come downtown to celebrate.
About 300,000 people are expected to crowd the city streets for the day-long festivities. Whether it be listening to an outdoor country music concert or just relaxing in the shade, there was plenty to see and eat downtown.
We come down every year. We've been coming down ever since the bicentennial year.
I like the music and just being with the people. I like crowds.
It's pretty interesting being here, and it's just like a mixture of everybody. It's down here at the circle, and everybody's just real friendly.
That friendly spirit continued tonight downtown with fireworks being set off on the top of Indiana National Bank Tower. We'll have more on that story a bit later in the newscast.
3 deaths on state highways today bring the total to 8 killed in traffic accidents in Indiana this holiday weekend. The deaths today were all in single fatality accidents and occurred in LaGrange, Bartholomew, and Wayne counties. State police had forecast that as many as 10 would die in traffic accidents by midnight tonight. The traffic death toll on the nation's highways is running about as predicted, with at least 288 deaths counted during the holiday thus far. The Indiana State Police Mustang Patrol has been on the road since Friday, and it has caught a lot of motorists by surprise. Mark Baker takes a look at the early results.
65.8. This blue one right in the middle between you and I was in 69. If you would like to pull him over.
Indiana State Trooper Ken Adams is a member of the Mustang Patrol. He and a second trooper are using brand new unmarked Ford Mustangs.
I'm going to pull this subject over here.
With the other trooper stopping a car clocked at 74 miles per hour, Adams grabs his hat, turns on his red light hung on the windshield, and pulls over the speeder who unsuspectingly passed him. The Mustang Patrol began last Thursday. 20 Ford Mustangs, all V8s and all unmarked, are concentrating on I-465 over the holiday.
I've had a lot of people look at me, and reading lips, I can say, there goes one of those Mustangs. You know, it's we've had a lot of people, of course, due to the media attention, they're aware that we're out here on 465, and probably the psychological effect of the unmarked Mustangs are making people slow down a little bit. But
later this week, the 20-member Mustang Patrol will begin covering other areas in Indiana, surprising unwary speeders. Mark Baker, the 10 o'clock news.
Some people from all across Indiana gave up their 4th of July holiday today to hold a protest at the State House. The Indiana Coalition for Black Judicial Officials demonstrated in the capital city this afternoon to point out the lack of minorities on the bench. There are no black judges on the state's federal, Supreme Court of Appeals, and circuit court levels. Hoosiers from as far away as Gary and Rushville came to Indianapolis today to urge state lawmakers to make some changes.
Judges on-the-job training. We go to law school and we graduate. We graduate from Indiana University. We graduate from Valparaiso. We graduate from all of the top law schools in the country. We are ready, just like the white judges, to be appointed to these judicial positions. But we just don't get the chance. We don't get the opportunity.
The state Democratic Party, meanwhile, took this opportunity today to endorse Mae Jemison to be the leading contender for the job of Marion County Superior Court judge. The black attorney has been filling in for Judge Thomas Alsip, who resigned his post last week. If Jemison isn't appointed, Democrats plan to make a campaign issue out of it.
It looks like a dry week ahead. Paul Poteet with details of the forecast when we come back.
At Dave Mason Lincoln Mercury, we have a sale, only one time each year. It's a closeout sale of the 1988 models, and every new Lincoln and Mercury in our inventory is included. This means you will never buy a new Lincoln or Mercury for less money than you will right now during this closeout sale at Dave Mason Lincoln Mercury.
61, 62, 63.
Independent laboratory testing proves that Sargent's new fast-acting flea and tick collars kill 3.5 times more fleas in the first 6 hours than the other leading collar.
I can't keep up.
And Sargent's new fast-acting collar keeps on killing fleas faster for a full 5 months.
Enough already.
So counters who count Sargent's fleas must work 3.5 times faster than counters for the competition.
4.
Sargent's new fast-acting collar.
I hope you're happy. I'm exhausted.
Tuesday, Lonnie Anderson's a small-town girl in the big city and in trouble.
Now, wait a minute, easy, boy. He's bluffing.
Let's go.
No, come on now. Frida's girls don't have it so bad in here. She gets top dollar for it.
Danny got shot. I've got to go to him somehow.
You mean break out?
I came to see the girl. The talk is something special.
Sizzle, Tuesday's hot and heavy 8 o'clock movie on WTTV, Channel 4.
The U.S. of A. is currently waging a war we can't afford to lose. The war against drugs. And those sleazeballs who smuggle them in and sell them to your kids, all right? Well, on my next show, we're going to meet America's most highly decorated Vietnam War hero. He's going to tell you that even Uncle Sam may be in the drug business. This is a shocking revelation on this show. Names will be named. Join us. You decide.
It's the Morton Downey Jr. Show, tonight at 11 on WTTV.
They were looking for freedom, and they risked their lives to live in the United States.
We're looking for freedom. We decided to run away.
And they literally one step ahead of the mounted police when they got on the airplane.
It was hard decision because we don't find anything in that time. No shoes, no clothes, no nothing. We were scared. We were real scared.
True stories of political escape. They're freedom's heroes on the next Geraldo.
Tomorrow morning at 9 here on WTTV.
Life in the fast lane. They do what others only dream of.
Out of control egos.
Scott Baio, Jodie Foster, Foxes.
Wednesday on the Channel 4 8 o'clock movie.
On to the weather forecast this evening,
right.
and a very patriotic Paul Poteet.
Yes, I tried to look like a Yankee Doodle dandy, but what does Wendy call me? A bad barbershop quartet pretender this evening, so it didn't work. Holiday spirit is ruined.
And I think she was being polite.
Well, they may have to adjust the cameras after we're done. That's
Probably will.
The only thing I'm worried about. And it's going to be red hot again tomorrow in the spirit of the 4th. Clear and already, or I should say still, or I should just probably leave and pack up this career. 82 degrees is what I'm trying to say. The wind out of the southeast at 5. Well, I guess I'm distracted by these fashion fireworks. Humidity 37%. The barometer is rising, and again, no precipitation today. Very warm weather with a high of 96. Oh, just about 7 degrees away from the record high of 103 in 1911, the record low of 48 in 1968, and about the closest rain to us tonight on the national map would be in western Kentucky and western Tennessee. Low pressure down there, a lot of rain in the Gulf Coast today, 3 3/4 inches in 2 hours. In Monroe, Louisiana, we haven't had that in 2 months. Baton Rouge with 54-mile-an-hour winds, and out to the west, a little bit of shower activity also around this stationary frontal system. The problem is it's a stationary frontal system. It isn't coming our way anytime soon, but for them, showers and some thunder showers with rain on and off throughout the northern and central Rocky Mountains. What we're watching for isn't on the map yet, and it's high pressure once again moving in from Canada and parking it for the next few days in central Indiana. Across the country in temperatures on July 4th, things were, of course, warm as usual in Bullhead City, 113 for the nation's high, and Tahoe City, California, 41 degrees. That would be the nation's low. And you can see the 90s once again getting set up out here in the middle of the country, ready to lurch on us. Already in the 90s, of course, along the Ohio River, a little cooler with a breeze off the lake in Chicago. Temperatures, though, and some of the clouds and the rain down in the southeast were a little bit cooler. Highs only in the 70s. And, of course, that's what we have right now across Indiana, 70s and even 80s in Indianapolis and Bloomington. Skies are clear. It was nice enough to see all the fireworks tonight. Readings tomorrow, though, will be jumping up to record temperatures in some spots. The record in Indianapolis is 99, and I think we're just going to miss it for Tuesday afternoon. The forecast for tonight, we're looking for just a clear sky this evening, a low of 63 degrees. Tomorrow, hot and sunny with a high of 98. And Wednesday, it doesn't get much better than this. It doesn't. A high of 98 degrees. And then on the extended forecast, it cools off just a little bit, but Doug and Wendy were still just too hot and just too dry, more importantly. However, on the 6 to 10 day outlook, I'll be visiting the laundry and be back to my regular clothes. And then next Sunday through next Thursday, temperatures above normal, but precipitation above normal, believe it or not. That would be next Sunday through next Thursday.
It would be a real change.
So a little holiday good news for you.
Good.
Well, the rain finally stopped in England, and there's a winner at Wimbledon. Chuck Marlowe Sports is next.
Stouts RVs has top-of-the-line brands like Airstream, Winnebago, and Fleetwood in stock for summer. And Stouts is the place for outstanding service, too. Because owners know that Stouts has professionals who place dependable, trustworthy service above all else, including softball. So come to Stouts, because when it comes to service, we cover all the bases.
After the sale is done,
of all the ideas cooked up to make life easier in the kitchen, there's one simple idea nobody has improved on. And now there's another. Reynolds Wrap and Reynolds Plastic Wrap. Make it right from the start.
What you start with makes a big difference in what you end up with. Start with Reynolds Wrap. Make it right from the start.
Tennis, racing, baseball, all sorts of things in sports tonight, Chuck.
And we start with tennis, Doug. Hi, everybody. Stefan Edberg defeated Boris Becker in 4 sets today to win the rain-delayed Wimbledon Tennis Championships. Becker, the winner of the Wimbledon back in '85 and '86, netted his backhand on match point to lose his first match ever on center court at the prestigious tourney. Edberg thus becomes the first Swede to win the coveted English Cup since Bjorn Borg did it back in 1980. Steffi Graf, of course, of West Germany, defeated Martina Navratilova for the women's title on Saturday. Okay, lady golfers, we go from tennis to golf. They began arriving at the Country Club of Indianapolis today. A few got in some practice for the upcoming Classic, which begins with a Pro-Am this Wednesday. Most of those who will compete will be here tomorrow as practice continues through tomorrow evening. Skins competition will highlight some afternoon play tomorrow. That's late afternoon. So if you want to see how the game is played, you have the next 6 days to take in the Classic, the Mayflower Classic, Country Club of Indianapolis, US 136, and Country Club Road. Well, a big win in kart auto racing for Mario Andretti yesterday at Cleveland's Grand Prix. After dueling with Danny Sullivan and Bobby Rahal for the better part of the race, Mario took the lead on lap 68 when Rahal bobbled in turn 3. The two then dueled side by side into turn 4, and Mario outbraked Rahal in that turn, going on to take the checkered flag 12 laps later. For the second time this season, Rahal was second, Sullivan third. The finish, very exciting to Andretti.
Fantastic going head-to-head with Bobby and Sullivan the way they were running. I was just elated because it was good to know that at this stage of the season that we're really in the hunt, and that gives us, I think, a lot of confidence going to the next race and for the rest of the season.
Selection begins today for the Scarborough Peace Games basketball teams representing Indiana this August right here in Indianapolis. This is the 16th year for the Peace Games. Coordinators are gearing up for more than 850 athletes to meet their Canadian counterparts. The selection of players on this year's team is a bit different than in years past.
Okay, the Peace Game selection is based on local competition. We have a total of 23 teams that participate this year, which is going to make it kind of difficult to select an all-star team. So we do have a tryout camp, and each team is to send 3 to 4 representations to a tryout camp. And from that group, 12 participants are selected to represent the United States and Indiana.
The Peace Games is a 3-day affair. August 5th, 6th, and 7th. The Scarborough team will arrive in Indianapolis on the 5th. This 4th of July saw lots of sports, beginning first with a full schedule of Major League Baseball. Chicago and San Francisco, a big game and a big win for the Cubbies. We'll pick the action up in this game, top of the 9th inning, with the score tied 2-2. Runners on first and third. Manny Trio, with this single to left, scored Dunston from third. That was Trio's 6th RBI, and it proved to be the game winner. Made it 3-2, and the Cubs held on to win the game, out-dueling San Francisco in the last half of the 9th inning. St. Louis and Los Angeles, night contest. The Dodgers win it 5-3. Cincinnati whips New York tonight. The Mets on the short end 5-1. Atlanta shuts out Philadelphia. Montreal leads Houston 5-3 after 6, and another 6th inning score sees San Diego with the lead over Pittsburgh. In the American League, afternoon games found Detroit a winner. Oakland took 16. Mark McGuire with a home run with 1 on in the 16th to win that game over Cleveland 4-2. Chicago 5-1 over Baltimore. Minnesota defeats Milwaukee 3-1. California 11-6 over Toronto. That's the 4th straight loss for the Jays. Boston 5-3 at the end of 3 over Kansas City. New York leading Texas, and they're 2/3 of the way through that contest. No score on the Indianapolis and Iowa contest being played in Iowa this evening. It was reported last Saturday evening that Jay Edwards, the Big Ten's outstanding freshman basketball player for the past season, has lost his scholarship because of several campus-related incidents. Edwards had run up over $700 in parking and library fines. He had failed to report to work at his summer job on several occasions. IU basketball coach Bob Knight talked with Edwards early Saturday, informed him then he would have to pay his own tuition this fall if he expected to continue to study and play at Indiana. The freshman star has 2 choices. He can pay his own way, or he can transfer to another school. Edwards is on the verge of ruining a potentially marvelous career. He will gain nothing by going to another school. That's running away from the heat. And he never gets away from the problem until he corrects the problem, which lies within himself. He should stay at IU and play and study his way back to good favor. And finally tonight, it's been reported by a Lexington TV station that Sean Woods of Cathedral has turned up to be ineligible to play next year because he didn't pass his SAT test. You need 700 to pass the test, and he was below that on his last exam.
College, Party College is growing up.
That's exactly right.
The fireworks coming up next. We'll be right back.
The
excitement of open-wheel racing is yours this Saturday as the Pepsi-Cola 150 for the USAC Silver Crown Champ Cars comes to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Classic upright-style Champ Car roadsters driven by greats like Daytona 500 pole sitter Ken Schrader, Indy 500 star Rich Vogler, Silver Crown Charger Rick Hood, and the fast-driving Jeff Swindell. Gates open at 2, practice at 3, qualifying at 6. Jonathan Bird's Cafeteria 25-lap qualifier at 8. The 4th annual Pepsi-Cola 150 starts at 9 this Saturday at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Mike Mahoney Chevrolet, I-74 and Post Road announces our gigantic 4th of July spectacular. You'll save like never before. Hurry in and look at this. A 1986 Caprice Brougham V8 loaded, including air, just $10,988. Or come on into Mike Mahoney today, take a look at this. A 1987 Buick LeSabre automatic air. It's loaded for only $12,988. Hurry on into your all-American dealer, Mike Mahoney Chevrolet. Call 862-2421. Mike, what a guy.
Well, I got a gun shop on the north side, shooting range and all. Another one on the south side, across from Greenwood Mall. You've been in both, can't decide which is best. I've just created a problem, folks, cause now I got one west. Hi, folks. This is old Don from Don's Guns. I didn't want anything. I just always wanted to sing on TV.
A 17-year tradition continued in downtown Indianapolis this evening as the night sky came alive with fireworks from atop the Indiana National Bank Tower.
There are always a lot of safety precautions during a display of this size, but this year there were extra safety measures taken, as Mark Baker explains.
This morning, 37 stories above Indianapolis streets, preparations were underway for tonight's visual 4th of July extravaganza. 4 employees of Zambelli International assembled the 1,500 shells that made up the half-an-hour Indiana National Bank fireworks show. The Zambellis promised surprises, but local officials were also prepared for one surprise that no one wanted.
Because of the weather conditions this year, safety has moved to an even higher level as far as we're concerned. We have worked even closer to make sure that our property and the surrounding properties are safeguarded during the actual show.
As in previous years, 10 firefighters with hoses manned the top of the INB tower, but tonight extra spotters watched nearby buildings for falling debris. Plus a helicopter was ready to guide extra fire personnel in case of a blaze. 450 shells exploded during the grand finale, capping the 17th annual INB fireworks display. Mark Baker, the 10 o'clock news.
And as we leave you this evening, we will leave you with some of the shots from the Indiana National Bank display this evening and a little music to go along with it. The fireworks are over right now, but the celebration does continue. Join us again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. I'm Doug Rafferty. Thanks for joining us this evening. Have a good night.